Hail Kingdom, welcome to Pass of Excel 2 The Third Edict. And if you're bored in basic monk builds just like me, well, this monk will use only wind skills, yes. No lightning, no ice, it's just insanely cool and fun Acolyte of Chayula build. You can play it as Invoker also, but Acolyte of Chayula just works good. But I rolled this monk just because of you. Since I rolled a wheel and landed on this exact archetype in my Zero to Hero series, I really recommend you checking the whole video. But for now, let me show you how it will look in the end. Basically, when you level up this guy and finish the campaign, it will look just like that. You will run and gun and just destroy everyone around you. Extremely tanky, very powerful, and just destroys everyone. This map also contains boss, so we will destroy boss, and this build is suitable for all content. So if you like this wind skills, if you like the effects on the screen right now, you will definitely enjoy gameplay. And gameplay is pretty simple. It's not one button, it's actually like 2 or 3 buttons and some combination versus boss, but that's what's fun for me, and if it's fun for you, then you will definitely enjoy this. There's a bunch of layers how to make this build possible and working, but this looks just amazing. But most importantly, this build just works. And you can run exactly the same combination against boss, or you can actually use another secret tool in our arsenal. So versus bosses we will try to build up our stun, and there's a bunch of other effects on top. Stun is built, so he's stunned, we're building up our combination rotation, and then we unloading the power. Oh, that's a flicker strike, yeah. We can make it even more powerful, but I decided to show you like a fun version. Anyway, that's a leveling build. So we're going into our first section, which is back to basics, yeah, to Act 1. So main idea of this build is to actually use only physical skills. Scale physical damage, and when you're just starting out, there will be only Staggering Palm. Staggering Palm is a great skill if you manage to stun enemies. So when enemies is primed for stun, you're using Staggering Palm and you will get cool buff. Right now my basic attacks looks like this, but if I stun enemy with Staggering Palm, well, I will start shooting these crazy projectiles everywhere. However, in the start, of course, these projectiles will look like this, and basically when you stun enemies with Staggering Palm, you will get the buff. So look at my buff section, the first one, giving me a buff for 10 seconds, then for 10 seconds more, and then for 10 seconds more. Basically every time you stun, you get buff for 10 more seconds, but 30 seconds is maximum. Therefore, you just want to stun enemies every now and then with the skill, and you will keep this for like forever, for full map. And then when most monks unlocking their favorite Tempest Flurry, Ice Strike, we unlocking Wind Blast. Wind Blast is a range skill, but does it look like a range skill? Well, it looks like a projectile to me. However, yes, it's a range skill in reality, and Wind Blast will generate more stun build up. So that's our like main combination. We generating stun with Wind Blast, and then we stunning enemies with Staggering Palm. We're getting our buff, and bam! Even at early levels, unlike other monks, we got 2 projectiles in one. So normally we're shooting just one wind wave basically, but after stunning enemy we're shooting double wave, so it's double damage on top. It's pretty crazy. But when you reach end of Act 1, well, that's where there will be a bunch of little problems. Density of enemies will skyrocket, and that's where our full build comes. Basically we finish Act 1 with Contagion is our skill that will help us clear stuff. Contagion is just good overall skill, I recommend starting with this. It's magic skill, but it just helps clear a lot. But also after unlocking Spirit, we will use Herald of Blood. Yeah, Herald of Blood is just very good, especially for our combinations. While active, any enemy with blood loss will cause blood explosions that will deal damage surrounding enemies. And that's basically how it works. You just activate bleeding on one of the targets and they will explode. These guys can't explode, I guess, because they one-shot it in time too powerful. So let's load one more map, or here it will be easier to show. Basically I hit them, and as you can see they will be blown up. I just need to activate bleeding on them. Look, they're starting to explode, and it actually will create chain reaction when our build will be a little bit more finished in the like middle of the Act 2. But that's basically how it looks like. We're shooting few enemies and they're starting to explode whole screen, and that's like the beauty of the build. You just do few attacks and bam, whole screen is exploded. You don't even need to press anything else. That's just so fun, I don't know. And last but not least, of course, it will be Tempest Bell. It's just extra damage versus bosses. So overall, what we are looking on every skill in our arsenal. We're looking to have Bleed on Staggering Palm, and we're looking for poison and corrosion on wind blast, or vice versa. So you can have bleed and rapid attacks on wind blast, for example. Rapid attacks is just good for faster attack speed, and then you're getting bleed, and then of course you're getting poison and corrosion on staggering palm. You're seeing poison 3 over here. That's just to showcase you like best gems you can have. You don't need to have poison 3, and yes, you can use this leveling build completely from scratch. This snapshot taken right after Act 1, and in Act 1 I played completely like solo self-found, but that's another topic. Basically that's the core concept. So to clear enemies with Herald of Blood you need to inflict bleeding, and there's another way how you can do it. Basically you can have something like Blood Torn, for example. So if you got this unique, if you was lucky, you dropped it, it caused bleeding on hit, then you don't need bleeding on your Wind Blast, for example, so you can skip it. For Tempest Belt it's just concentrated area and overabundance, so you can spam these bells and you will get more damage. For Contagion it's Swift Affliction and concentrated area for the same ideas, just more and more damage. Herald of Blood, concentrated area, so that's it. For passive skill tree in Act 1 it's super simple, it's just skill speed, attack damage. We're going for skill speed, then we're getting more skill speed, and then we're going over here for more attack damage, and then we're dropping down for more attack damage over here with some like extra effects like blind on hit, but it doesn't matter too much. So this combination will help you go through like Act 1 easily, then you're going into Act 2. In Act 2, density of enemies will be even higher, and you need to somehow fix the new problem. The new problem is like right over here. As you can see, it's like who is armored here. So he is armored. Yeah, the armor is a problem because this build will deal mostly physical damage, and that's it. So physical damage, you need to somehow break armor. In the Act 2, you actually want to have poison and corrosion on your skills, definitely. What you achieve by this combination, basically you're poisoning enemies, and poison will start to eat enemy armor, and it will break enemy armor. And that's just very good against bosses and guys like this. So you may even sacrifice rapid attacks, but poison and corrosion is just great. Again, as I told you, poison and corrosion can be on staggering palm, while rapid attacks and bleed can be on wind blast. But to make this combination completely broken and clear wall Act 2, we need to add one more secret to our combination, and it will be different combination on Herald of Blood. So Herald of Blood, we will change our support gems again, but this combination will be available only if you get lesser Juveler Stones, basically if you get 3 sockets. Normally you can have 3 sockets in Act 3, but sometimes you're lucky and you can get it in Act 2, and that's how it works. And this combination will make it infinitely chain, basically. So Herald of Blood is payoff skill. This means it can't interact with bleed. So it interacts with blood loss, and it can't inflict bleed, but it can inflict poison, because when it hits, it deals physical damage, and poison is killed with physical damage. Then we will add Bursting Plague. Bursting Plague will give you ability to spread this poison. So basically whenever you add poison, enemy will be burst with plague, and when it bursts into with plague, well, it's not the damage from Herald of Blood, it's damage from Bursting Plague, and therefore it can actually inflict bleeding. So it can inflict bleeding since it's a hit, and if something hits something, then yeah, it can inflict bleeding, and if it inflicts bleeding, well, it interacts again with Herald of Blood, and so on and so on. So that's how it works. And honestly, if you don't have the third socket for bleed, you can completely like live without it. You can live with just poison and Bursting Plague with Herald of Blood. And this will be like your combination for Act 2, so nothing will change. You just need to make sure you actually like destroying enemies left and right. What will happen in Act 3? Well, in Act 3 you will unlock a bunch of extra new skills, and of course most important skill will be our favorite Extra Spirit. Yeah, you will defeat boss and you will get Extra Spirit. Before you get there, of course, you need to allocate some points on passive skill tree. So that's our passive skill tree in Act 2. It's continuation of our skill tree in Act 1, of course, and we're basically going forward, but as you can see here, we're starting to scale with different attributes. So it's poison chance, and we will get poison chance on hit over here and increase magnitude of poison damage. What these little nodes over here achieve? Well, it's not only giving you ability to increase your chance to poison enemies, it basically gives any hit ability to poison enemies. Therefore, again, just with this node alone, even if you don't have some extra sockets, actually your skills can poison enemies, so you can sacrifice poison and feel completely like safe and good. Then we're rushing like towards this quarterstaff node over here to increase defenses and most importantly stun build up. We want to build up our stun a lot, and actually you will just stun bosses in Act 2 and perma stun them, they will get out of stun, they will be stunned again, it's so easy, it's just super fun. And then we will scale into this magnitude of poison over here, but basically I defeated Act 2 with just these nodes over here. Okay, what's about our spirit? Well, spirit will go into Wind Dancer. Wind Dancer is just too good. Right now we get all damage in the world, all damage we need. What we want Wind Dancer to have protection, but protection most oftenly combined with something like blind and other support gems. We will combine it with bleed, with poison, with magnified area, with concentrated area, basically with more damage, with more area and bleed and poison. So now Wind Dancer will inflict bleed and poison to our enemies. And yeah, you probably get a question what ascendancy we go for. I told you already we're going for Acolyte of Chayula, and if you went for Chayula, well, you can get this increased skill speed and skill into the breach. So you can collect like purple flames and get more chaos damage. But that's basically how Wind Dancer will work. Look, I will stand still, they will hit me, and they actually will like die a lot faster. So as you can see, I can play like a Thorns Monk. By the way, if you want to see Thorns Monk, make sure to leave a comment and I will make a build for it. So it will be probably fun and crazy if we start this series in next Zero to Hero. But anyway, for now, let's talk about most important stuff. It's our extra support gems that we can use in Act 3, because you will unlock bunch of sockets, at least 3 sockets you will get it in Act 3. And what you want to have on Wind Blast is Brink. Brink is just insane. It will make you not only deal a lot more damage to enemies who is stunned, and it's still one of the best skills to defeat bosses right now, but also it will make you unable to stun enemies. Therefore, again, with Wind Blast you just attack few times, then you use Staggering Palm, you dash towards target, you stun them, you poison, bleed them, you get extra projectile. Now this projectile will poison and bleed all targets, and that's basically just crazy stuff. That's just insanely cool, and that's how it works. So for passive skill tree, again, you just saw what we did. It's just more poison duration, more poison stacks with like basically scaling with poison. Then towards end of Act 3, just for more damage, we're getting this extra days on hit to generate more stun, we get more like damage over here, and then in Act 4 we start to scale into this like poison magnitude and stuff over here. So Act 4 will actually go exactly the same, so nothing changes, and this build is just so powerful. I was amazed how powerful you can be if you're just using physical damage, if you're just running around, if you're destroying enemies' armor and then hit them with quarterstaff, like with this quarterstaff attacks. It's just insane. It's completely insane. You just have to try it. So Act 4 again, nothing kinda changes, but in Interlude something will change. Well, you will get extra spirit, and now it's your choice. When I leveled, I actually didn't have any good armor and I invested only in attack nodes. Therefore, Ghost Dance is not for me. Ghost Dance is great spirit reservation skill, but you need energy shield. You need high energy shield, you need high evasion, you don't have it probably yet. So I chose Herald of Plague. Herald of Plague is something extra on top that helps us to kind of generate the power of poison spread, and when poison spreads, again, it's kind of go into a reaction between all enemies. And if you're curious, yeah, it's tier 15 map, so we're running on tier 16 map, actually level area 80, and that's how like this monk looks like. He is basically destroying everyone, he's unkillable. It's just insane. If you don't believe this is content viable, well, you can at least defeat all Atlas, you can defeat all breaches. I haven't beat last expedition yet, but because I haven't attempted, so all rituals, and I'm starting Delirium, but I already defeated Arbiter of Ash. Yeah, it's like totally viable. It won't have like loads of problems in any type of content. But that's basically where we scale towards the end. Towards the end, we're looking to have extra bonuses to our Staggering Palm, and when it's possible, we're adding Nova Projectile. Nova Projectiles will fire 4 additional projectiles in a circle. You will deal less damage, but again, our idea is to hit enemies and inflict bleed and poison, so they actually starting to spread this stuff, so that's how it works. Most importantly, bleed, by the way, because when you inflict bleed, they will burst in plague, and Herald of Blood will spread poison, so that's how it works. So now you attack, you stun enemies, and now you start shooting in like 5 directions. It's insanely fun, it's super cool, but to make it even more cool, you can use Whirling Assault. Whirling Assault with a bunch of extra support gems like rapid attacks, and now you can spin and win like this. But before I start spinning, let's take a look at our passive skill tree. Well, that's passive skill tree right after I beat it interlude, so basically when I start mapping. And what we added is this node over here, Agonizing Calamity. Guess what? It's 40% increased chaos damage and 40% increased physical damage if you are affected by Herald of Plague and Herald of Blood. We're affected by both of them, therefore we're almost doubling all our damage, since we're dealing only physical and only chaos damage, which is just insane. We also get loads of extra damage over here, loads of extra strike range, attack damage, melee attack damage, and yeah, it's melee attack damage, but we're shooting projectiles, but still most of our skills is melee, so it's actually affecting us pretty nicely for now. Then we're getting loads of poison over here, little bit of move speed over here, and starting to scale into damage right here in Killer Instinct. So that's just pure damage mostly, and when you start mapping, you want to actually start building up your defenses, but you also want to start respecting your character and changing how build will scale. So if you're interested, then definitely check the video on the screen right now. It will show you end-game version and explain how fully end-game version works and how works the version with Flicker Strike, because Flicker Strike is not usable in a campaign, but when you start mapping, well, you can start using it, and it's just insane finisher when you want to fight guys like Arbiter of Ash. Links to passive skill tree and gems in a pinned comment, and again, if you're interested in late game version, watch video on the screen right now.